I'm Noreen, and welcome to this week's episode of Noreen's Garden. Today I wanted to take a moment and talk to you about molasses and how molasses can be beneficial to you in your garden in the development of really good soil. So molasses, probably the last thing you would think of that would be great for your soil, but it really is an excellent thing that you can add into your watering regimen to your soil to increase microbial activity. Not only your soil, but your compost heap. If you add, you've heard people say that you can pour a bottle of Coca-Cola or anything with sugar in it into your compost heap, and it will help increase the microbes and the microbial activity going on in that compost pile and help everything break down faster. Well, the same holds true for your soil. When you give your soil something sugary, such as molasses, it will increase the microbial activity in your soil, and it will actually help your plants become greener and more verdant and actually produce more fruit in the long run. And the reason for this is because of what the sugar does to the soil. Because what the molasses will do, and it has to be a simple sugar, and molasses actually comes from the sugar cane, so this is a simple sugar. You mix this with water, and you water it like once every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. It just depends on your preference. But it helps to increase the good bacteria in your soil. It helps feed them. So, for instance, the best example I can give you is the good bacteria in your soil needs something to eat. And if you don't give it something to eat in the form of a simple sugar, it's going to be feasting on the tiny little roots that are coming off of your plants. And while this isn't going to hurt your plants, it hurts them less if you actually give them something else to eat. So what you're actually doing is you're creating microbial production and using the molasses as what's called an indirect fertilizer. Fertilizer feeds your plants, we all know that, but an indirect fertilizer creates microbial activity and actually feeds the good bacteria in the soil so that your soil can do a better job for your plants. It's a sugar source, it's a beneficial bacteria, and the beneficial bacteria, they love the simple sugar, so that's what the molasses is for. It also boosts the nitrogen and phosphorus content of your soil. And all you have to do is add 1/4 cup of molasses to a gallon of water and then water in. But make sure that you don't do that until you've given your plants and your soil a good soaking first. That way, this is going to soak in and that microbial activity is going to actually start immediately. So you only want to use unsulfured molasses. You see these say unsulfured. And the reason for that is sulfured molasses is too acidic and can actually hurt your plants. And that gives the opposite effect to what we're going for here. So make sure that when you use molasses, it is unsulfured. You can also, in some parts of the country, find agricultural molasses. Some farmers in some parts of the country actually they actually spread molasses on their fields to increase microbial activity like we're talking about in order to feed their crops. So keep that in mind. If you live in the heartland and are able to get your hands on some agricultural molasses, which is not culinary molasses, but still it serves the same purpose in this particular respect. You can't eat agricultural molasses because it hasn't been deemed fit for human consumption, but you can use regular molasses in your garden. So what you're going to get is a super green response from your plants, and you're going to, like I said, increase microbial activity of the good bacteria in your soil. And you can also use this when you're making a compost tea. So you would take like an old pantyhose or a knee-high, fill it with some of your compost, put it in a bucket of water, add 1/4 cup of molasses and maybe some fish emulsion, let it hang out for a couple of days, and then you would add that more water to that, and then you would water in your garden, and you're really going to give it an amazing boost. compost tea is a fantastic additive to put on your garden soil. I just wanted to give you a little background on molasses in general, but molasses is a fabulous additive to add to your garden regimen. So if you are thinking about having a garden or you already have a garden, adding molasses to your watering scheme might not be a bad idea. Give it a try and see what it does for you. I guarantee you that you're going to see healthier, greener plants, and they're going to be happy, and when plants are happy, they produce a lot more fruit. So I hope this was informative. I hope you learned something, and until next time, I'll see ya.